The Responder Fit podcast is built for the men and women who run towards danger. Military, law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS workers who give everything on this job and deserve the same energy when it comes to their own lives. Each episode features guest speakers diving into topics that matter most to first responders, such as physical fitness, mental health, tactical training, range days, and the brotherhood and culture that comes with the lifestyle. Whether you're looking to optimize your performance on and off duty, or you just want real conversations with people who get it, this is the show for you. Welcome to the Responder Fit podcast. Welcome back to Responder Fit podcast. Today we have special guest, Police Detective Dave Leath. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your law enforcement journey? We'd love to hear.
All right. Well, first I have to start with my broken back.
Okay.
I have to start with today. Today I'm in a lot of pain, and I thought that you could relate because I spinal.
Okay.
Broke my back.
Oh, how'd that happen?
I was riding my bike to the gym, and that's like my pre-workout, my cardio. It's like a 20-minute bike ride to the gym. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, depending on how fast I'm going, which gym I'm going to. But I was riding to the gym, and all of a sudden, my front tire just went wonky. And next thing I know, I was falling over, and I tucked the elbow correctly and landed entirely. You got to look at this bruise on my shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, that's road rash. But that's not even the worst of it. Take a look at that, Ant. That's not even that. The shoulder is nothing. The back is what's killing me right now. And I was like, there's no way I'm canceling on Jerry because professionals show up.
Hell yeah.
No matter what's going on. So I'm a professional.
Do the hard things.
Do the hard things. I'm showing up. It's painful to walk. I thought that maybe I busted a rib behind the scapula. Jeez. Because I coughed and something popped in my back, and I started immediately sweating and like shaking and almost crying. I've never been in that much pain in my entire life. So I had to go get an x-ray today, and the doctor gave me good news. He said it's most likely a bruised bone, which could feel like a broken rib.
Right.
And especially anything around the ribs is super. And I've had like, bruised ribs before, so I know what that feels like. I'm okay breathing, so I'm just glad I didn't get hit by a car. But my whole entire career, I've been active, and it's part of the reason why I still look somewhat decent. I can pass the physical PT standards for the mid-range, the 30 range. I just need a couple weeks of prepping for it, but I could still, I've tested myself within the last year, and I don't remember what the bands are, but like the 35 to 40-year-old band, whatever that middle band is, I can still pass.
And how old are you?
I'm 5'0".
You're 50, and you're still working out.
Every day, brother.
Lean as can be.
Every day. Not as lean as I can be. So here's the trick.
Okay, tell me.
Here's the trick for me.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm not tracking my food, I start to gain weight. Because I've talked to people that don't track. They're just very disciplined with their eating.
Right.
And I've talked to people that do track. And I know for me that when I'm tracking, I begin to lose weight. When I'm not tracking, I forget how many calories I'm taking in. And I just it goes up a half pound, a pound. The next thing I know, I'm up to my balloon weight, which for my height is like 167. Once I start getting there, the gut starts really like popping, and I look like semi-pregnant, and there's no resemblance of abs. But my ideal weight is like $150.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm short. So
yeah. Now, what time do you normally go to the gym?
I hate shift work. I tell this to everyone that'll listen. The biggest thing that affects first responders, and it's their sleep schedule. It's that shift work schedule. So if I could go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m., I would go every morning. But, I work days and nights. So sometimes I'm on days, sometimes I'm on nights. When I'm on days, I'm getting there at 5:30. And I'm waking up at like 4 a.m. And when I'm on nights, I sleep in a little bit till like 9. And I usually mosey my way to the gym around 10 or 11 after I've woken up a little bit. On nights is actually when I can lose weight better because I can fast a little bit longer. So when I'm working 5 to 1s, I typically won't eat until like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. When I'm working 9 to 5s, I'm looking for breakfast at like 10 in the morning. It's the weirdest thing. And it's just my activity level. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's with me too. So when I'm working 7 to 3s, right, I'll end up lifting either early morning. So I'll wake up at 5 and do that. Or depending on how my night was prior, I'll either lift in the afternoon. But I always tell people it's a gamble because sometimes you get that late call and you don't know how late you're going to be at work.
Yep.
You know, I was talking to one of the guys the other day. We ended up rest 7 to 3. We ended up staying till 9 o'clock at night. Now it's like, do you go to the gym at 9:30, stay committed? Or do you wait the next day, make that a rest day? But then if you're specific with your macros, now you just messed up your whole eating.
I make it a rest day and I prioritize sleep.
Yep.
I prioritize.
That's what I do.
I prioritize sleep.
Yeah. And that's what I started doing with my clients. I rather have them take that extra rest day, prioritize the sleep and just eating right than actually going to lift, exert themselves more because now their body can't recover. And one thing I started using a lot more is the Garmin because the Garmin has that recovery score it gives you. Like,
is it, a band?
No, it's on my Garmin watch.
Oh.
So on my watch, it'll say, oh, you're 55 hours of rest you need before you can train hard or whatever, right? And like, I take that into consideration. Like, I'm not saying it's completely accurate. I don't know how accurate it is.
Yeah.
But like, there's some days I'm like, man, I'm beat. I don't know if I can go to the gym. And then I'll look at the watch and it's like, yeah, you're 70 plus hours in the red. I'm like, yeah, today's a rest day.
Yeah.
So what I've learned too, just, with slowly aging, not that I'm, old, but one of the biggest things
I'm not old either.
No, 50's young.
I'm still young.
One of the biggest things I've learned though is you have to prioritize your recovery just as hard as you train.
I haven't done that yet. I actually had a nutritional coach and he was a physique coach as well. I had a nutritional coach and a physique coach all in one. One time in 2020, I think it was just maybe 2021, 2020. Like I said, my weight had ballooned up to 167. I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, I've never been this heavy before. So I saw a guy in the gym that was completely shredded, too light for my liking. He was like 150 at 6'1". So he was like super lean. And my only question to him was, do you eat sweets? And he said, yeah, quite a bit. He does. So I was shocked by that. And I was like, all right, you're my man. I'm going to hire you. And I had him for like 6 months. I got to the 6-month point and I was just like, okay, this is repetitive. I pretty much know what I need to do. Within another 6 months, the weight started slowly creeping back. I stopped tracking as much. So it really has to be something that you can just like do without thinking about, Yeah.
100%. Now, we have some young viewers who are interested in being a police officer. You want to tell us any good war stories you got as a cop or as a detective, either or?
Yeah.
Or even, do you also want to explain how you become a detective?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got on the job, everyone's like, oh, I want to be, everyone I meet, they're like, I want to be a homicide detective. And they're like, you don't start there. Everyone starts as a cop or they say they want to work forensics. And I'm like, you don't start there. Everyone starts as a police officer. And there's a reason why everyone starts as a police officer, because that's where you learn the basics of the job and everything else that ties back into being a street cop. And I really enjoyed my time as a street cop. I was 17 years in uniform, partially because the unit I was in the COPE unit, which is a community policing unit. And I got to wear shorts to work and ride the bicycle. And I got to pretty much go out and do whatever I wanted to do on a daily basis, unless there was a detail. But for the most part, I got to go out and do whatever I wanted to do. And I was like, this unit is great. I'm going to retire from here. And I ended up spending 10 years in that unit. So 6.5 years on midnights. That's where like we earned our reputation, my partner and I, for being active cops. And I'm very proud to say that my entire time in uniform, I was a very active cop. A lot of DWI arrests, a lot of gun arrests, and just a lot of traffic stops. We weren't heavy on the drugs. If we found them, great. But if we didn't, we weren't like hunting for it. Our partners in the next zone over, they were always hunting for drugs, and the other guys were always looking for warrants. So it would be a race when we get in the car to see who was going to go out and grab the first body. It was like a good, friendly, fun competition that we all had. It was never spoken, but that was definitely a thing that we'd do. We'd see who could run out and grab the first, especially working midnights. You don't want to catch them too late.
Right.
You don't want a 4 a.m. arrest when you're ready to go home in a few hours from there.
I agree. I feel like you always do, let me just get that one more traffic stop in. And then you're like, oh, this is a bag.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the sun's rising, you're typing away. You're like,
Anytime that I was like really out there. So my boss, when I was in that unit, was awesome. Because let's say we worked 4 to 12. I would be out until 11:57, 11:58, 11:59. And then he'd text me, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, boss, just finishing off this last car stop. And then on my way into the precinct, if I saw anything off, I'd pull that car over too. And my boss was okay with it. He was really good with it.
Yeah.
So he would just always text me, are you all right? Yeah, I'm good, boss. I'm just doing this last car stop. He knew what I was doing. And then, there was a lot of nights that I struck out and came up empty. But there was a lot of nights when I was looking, I had planned on staying. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't so bad. Any night that I didn't plan on, it's just like rest and recovery, right? Like you got to know your own cycle. You got to know when you're shot. Like you can't be one of those guys that's so much of a OT monger that you can't take a couple days to recover your mind, your body, your health. All of those extra hours, I felt nights where my heart was, and I was your age, and I felt those nights where like it was reaching 4, 5 in the morning, and I felt like the heart skip a beat a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. And I knew it was happening, and I was just like, this is not good. I could not wait to not have to do that kind of overtime anymore, where like you're almost working around the clock, 4 or 5 in the morning. And like I said, I did a lot of DWI arrests, so I did a lot of those hours.
Yeah, and yeah, honestly, you're so right. Like, I will work at 3 to 11. Now I make a collar, and it's 10 o'clock. Now, next thing you know, you're staying all the way till 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Yeah, you leave at 10. First thing you do is go home, shower, go to sleep.
Yep.
Now you still got work the next day at 3 p.m.
What do you do that day? That day you got to recover a little bit.
Exactly. So
but some guys are maniacs.
They are maniacs.
Some guys never let up on the hammer.
They don't. And then they'll wait for that overtime call ring. Ring, ring. I'm coming back. And it's like, wait, you just left. Yeah, I'm back. And it's like, I'm glad at least now the job is like, hey, you can't work more than X amount of hours. Because if not, some people will kill themselves just working.
Yeah.
The money's great, but you also got to make sure you're taking care of your health in some way, shape, or form.
I talked to a lot of guys that said that they knew they were taking years off of their life.
Yeah.
Just by the amount of hours. You know what? I was like, for an extra 100,000, yeah, I might shave off a couple of years off of my life.
Yeah.
But my girl wasn't having it. She's an RN, and she says hello too, by the way.
Hey.
She wasn't having it. She was just like, no, you're not doing that. And I was just like, yeah, but I think I can make an extra 100K.
Yeah. And you know what? Like when I first started out, I was doing it because I was like, I need to buy a house. So I was just trying to kill the overtime. Mm-hmm. And, you do the holdover into the morning, the one night, then you do it again the second night. By the third night, it's addictive. But at the same time, you're living at the same 7-Eleven, drinking all that caffeine.
Yeah.
And you're just wired.
Yep.
It's times you start going to these domestics, talk about officer safety, you're not even paying attention. You're like half asleep, like trying to take the report.
I never drank coffee when I worked midnights either.
Really?
If I got tired, it was one or two things. My partner listened for the radio, or Or I got out of the car, and if the weather was nice, I would do like push-ups on the ground, just throw the gloves on and just knock out some push-ups, anything to wake myself up a little, like, little jump squats. We'd go to a park and I'd bust out a couple pull-ups, and then I'd get back in the car and be like, all right, I'm wired. I'm ready to go now.
Yeah.
But I was never a big coffee drinker, only because I didn't want to have to wake up and drink the coffee. Now I wake up and drink pre-workout every day, which has caffeine in it.
Yeah.
It's funny enough because now, like midday, like I'm looking for tea. I'm looking for those liquid plus drinks. I know that I'm consuming as much caffeine but I just never wanted to label myself a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
And I always liked coffee ice cream, but I just didn't want to drink coffee because I didn't want to be addicted to it. But now I wake up and drink the pre-workout every day.
That's awesome.
So I know I'm addicted to caffeine.
You see, that's like when I first joined the military. That's where you learn about like next level sleep exhaustion.
Yep.
And they'd wake you up for your watch. So sometimes what you would do is we would wake up at 5 a.m. First thing we're swimming, doing whatever, right? Now, 10 o'clock is taps. You go to sleep.
You're physically exhausted.
Physically, mentally cooked.
Yep.
But then you still have to do your watch. So my watch would be at like 3 a.m. So I go to sleep at 10. Next thing you know, 3 a.m. comes around quick. Wake up, go stand at my post. And let me tell you, like, I learned how to fall asleep standing up. That's how exhausted I was.
You probably learned how to fall asleep very fast too, right? Like probably right now, you could probably fall asleep very fast.
Yeah, same thing like I was on a cutter temporarily for a little bit. Let me tell you, there's no better sleep being at sea and having the boat rock you to sleep.
That's why I like cruises.
Yeah, you get on that boat and it just starts moving. You're like, man, let me just snuggle. It's coffin racks, but you're like, let me just snuggle up. And it just rocks you back and forth. So, good times. You got any crazy stories you want to share as a cop or a detective?
Yeah, so working midnights. We
as a cop or?
As a cop.
Okay.
As a cop. Yeah, I never worked midnights as a detective, only unless a case held me over the 5 to 1 tour. Then, then occasionally we'd have to work till 6, 7 in the morning, but that didn't happen that often. But as a cop, working midnights in my local county, almost said exactly where I was, but in my local county, working midnights, I remember my partner and I, we did a car stop on a carload of people, and the driver was topless, female, attractive. Remember it to this day. And this has happened to me at least twice now, where I pulled over a car and the female was completely topless.
This is pre-body cam?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pre-body cam. No, but I was still very professional.
Okay.
Still very professional because that's how you get yourself in trouble. So obviously, dancing girl, obviously leaving one of the clubs. I mean a stripper, you know what I'm saying? Like dancing girl, right? So, but very, very pretty face. So I woke up to the car and I'm like, ma'am, do you have a shirt that you can put on? And she's like, let me just get out of the car. And I'm like, no. No, before you get out of the car, grab a shirt. I'm sure you got a shirt somewhere in it. I said to her friends in the car, like, give her a shirt before she steps out. So she steps out with a shirt just draped on her shoulders, and the shirt's still open, and she's on the side of the road. And I'm like, you're going to have to button that up. And that took her a minute to do. And then the next thing she tells me is, I want to say his name so bad. I'm going to say, we're going to change the name to protect the identity. She says, Christian is my boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, really? And there's 2 Christians that work in the precinct. So I'm like, which Christian? I'm like, because I know them both. And I'm like, this is going to make for a great story. So she's like, the one that works in blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm giving him a call tomorrow. So I verify what I could verify. And then I believe we get her a friend to drive, and we get her a taxi. We get her a taxi home. I used some discretion. She wasn't over the limit. Mm-hmm. You know, just
Now, was this back when they had the data channels, or they had the computers then?
We had the MDCs in the car. We had the computers.
Okay, because I remember some of the guys, they were like, yeah, we would have to stop people and put over a queue, and they'd be like, oh, you're sixth in line for data.
No, this
on the
was
radios way back in the day.
Yeah, this was. I think the computers came out in the car in like somewhere in the early 2000s.
Okay.
It was like really, really early. I never wrote a summons on the laptop though. That's how
Still
far.
to this day?
To this day. When it first came out.
Dinosaur.
when it first came out, I know I'm a dinosaur. This is great. When it came out, my boss was like, "Oh, you guys got to do it. You got to do it on the laptop." But I still had the old school books, and I was just like, "I'm not learning something new." And then he got promoted to detective sergeant. My partner got promoted to sergeant, and once he got promoted, then I was feeling like, okay, it's time for me to get out of this unit because everybody was younger than me, and everybody was leaving, and like people were coming in the unit, and I would tell them, all right, first in or last in, first out, you got to go. Because I wasn't planning on going anywhere. I really thought I was going to retire out of that unit because it was just so good. But I did get burnt out after I got burnt out of doing car stops because I was just doing so many. I got bored of it. I would go around the entire precinct, like from the north part of the precinct all the way down to the south part of the precinct. Just looking for like a new area that I haven't been, but at some point, you know how it is. You end up patrolling the same neighborhoods, and it's like
the
same three neighborhoods over and over and over again. And it got to the point where it was like, all right, this is not fun anymore. It's not even stimulating.
Yeah.
For a while, I went into like networking mode where like, you know how they had the version of park walk and talk?
Yes.
Well, I was doing that before they mandated it. I would get out and I would just like, I was trying to learn Spanish. So I would go into bodegas and I would talk to the business owners, and I met like a lot of great contacts, like guys that own multiple businesses, guys that owned houses, guys that own construction companies. And I was just like a natural networker, and I never did any kind of side business while working. It was always like, hey, take my number, we'll stay in touch. And then I would call them up on my off duty.
But you know what though? Those connections become so powerful because I've gotten good arrests from felony stops.
Yes.
Off of, hey, just so you know, this is going down at this location. I'm not sure if you're working. I'm like, actually, I am. Yeah, come to here and here. They're loading up this, and this. You're like, oh, you show up and you're like, you find a reason to stop them. Like, oh, what's in the trunk? They start sweating profusely. You're like, you know what? Why don't we step out the vehicle? And you're like, jackpot.
Yeah.
And that's all because of making those connections.
I tell cops, don't be afraid to give your phone number out to good people. Like when you meet someone that's good, excuse me, I got a little chest congestion. And then, like I said, when I coughed, my back popped.
Oh.
And I started crying. I started like sweating and shaking. It was the worst pain I ever experienced. But back to giving out your cell phone number. Cut to, as a detective, I was doing a canvas for video for a case that I handled recently, where a woman she committed a crime, and I watched the video with the shop owner, and I knew this guy wasn't the type to like call me up at midnight and be like, "Hey, this is going on my block." Like, you got to watch out for those people. And those people, after a while, I don't even answer.
Stop answering, right?
I stop answering their call. And I'll text them back like a day later, like, "Oh, sorry, I was busy. What was going on?"
Yep.
And
or the several phone calls like at 3 a.m. I'm not doing this.
Now it's no longer an emergency.
Yep.
Like, I train them real quick. Your emergency is not my emergency.
Yeah.
If you need emergency assistance, call 911. And I tell every single person I give my number out to, like, hey, if you have something in an emergency, don't call me because I'm not answering. I rarely answer my phone on the first call.
Yeah.
And if I know if I think I know the reason why they're calling, I probably am not going to answer until the next day.
Yeah.
But this guy called me at 5, the shop owner called me at 5 a.m. the next day after I'd given him my number. And I'm like, that's a weird time to be calling. I'm like, Biggie Smalls, who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning? I'm in the bathroom and I'm looking at the phone. I'm like, this is the guy I just met yesterday. He calls me. He's like, I see her right now walking down the street, same clothes, same bag, same description, everything. And I'm like, awesome. So he made me, he got me the suspect, and I got some OT for going in early, and we did a great job on the case. And that was all because of this connection that I made while canvassing for video. So I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to make connections with people. Just because they know who you are, most people are good and they're not going to call you at 3 a.m. And I knew, my gut told me why this guy was calling me at 5 a.m. I'm like, I bet he sees her. He was leaving the gym and he did see her. And, listen to your gut. Like, your gut usually doesn't lie. But you can meet so many successful people when you're in uniform. Like, if you go into these businesses, I used to go into like insurance agencies. I used to go into all types of businesses, bodegas, insurance agencies. I went into the employment center and just met like the director. I met an assemblywoman at her office just because I was like walking that little strip. Went into her office, and then all of a sudden we became friends, and she started inviting me out to galas and things. And I was like, she just wants me to spend money on a campaign. But we actually became friends. And you just never know who you can meet if you go out and you just like put yourself out there and you offer to exchange your number first. You say, hey, let me give you my cell number. They'll punch it in. They'll give you their personal number. So like I've met a lot of very wealthy people just doing that. Like just like especially being near the yachts, being near the boats, and just like meeting people and just being like, hey, let me get your number. Like, you never know when I might need it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are so right.
But I usually tell people like, hey, I have a big network of people. I really do have like 5,000 numbers in my phone. Anytime I meet someone, whether it's a podcast producer, whether it's a podcaster, or a business owner, I always take their number, and I usually reach out in a couple of days just to keep myself top of mind. I went to an event. I go to a lot of events too. I went to an event in San Diego, and I met a woman who has a coaching business for first responders, and she's doing $200K a month.
Wow.
And I was like, I want to copy your funnel. I want to copy what you're doing. So I stayed in touch, and we'll see how that goes.
Nice. I'll be rooting for you. Another question for you.
Let me go back to my midnight stories. I really did enjoy. I really did enjoy being a street cop. So one night we're patrolling. Like a lot of being a street cop is just like looking at a situation that doesn't look right. So like we saw a closed business at like 10:30 at night, and we saw two guys walking out the back of it, and we approached them like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" And all of a sudden you start smelling the smell of gasoline. They smell very strong gasoline. So my partner stays with them. I walk to the back, and there was a van filled with I would say like an inch of gasoline fluid. We called out the arson squad, and they ended up charging the guys with attempted arson, and we got written up for that one because like they had a wick coming out of the van, and they were gonna light this thing on fire. It was for insurance fraud for their father-in-law. They were trying to get rid of it so he wouldn't have payments anymore, and we caught him in the act. Another guy that we caught working midnights had done 19 robberies, gunpoint with like a pillowcase, if you can imagine that. And he's running from the scene of a crime. Some guy flagged us down with his gas cap open. I can remember it to this day. And he's like, officers, like this guy's robbing the gas station. And so we gunned it over the train tracks. And sure enough, the guy's like running towards, like diagonally across our car. And my partner slams on the brakes. I jump out of the passenger side and I drew down on the guy because I could see the gun in his hand. And I'm like, drop the gun. That's the closest I ever came to shooting anyone in my entire career, because this guy is running in our direction with a gun in his hand. And thank God I saw him throw it down on the ground, but he's still running with the pillowcase in his hand, of course. He did drop the gun. He gets to a white PVC fence, and he was only about 2 inches taller than me. He wasn't a very tall guy. He was a stocky guy, though. He had like a good prison build, if you can imagine that. And he tried to make it over a 6-foot PVC fence. And I was just fast enough to get on his legs and rip him down off the fence. And my partner wasn't as fast as me. My partner was the tank and I was the speed. So he came up on him and he started cuffing him up. And I said to my partner, I'm going back to get the gun. My partner didn't hear me in the chaos of everything that's going on. So when my partner sees me walking away, he does like a double take, and he's like, I could see it in his eyes. He's like, where are you going? He didn't know where I was going, but I was going to secure the gun. So that's what we did. And then young cops, don't touch the gun. Put a cone over it. It's not going to go off by itself. Stand next to the gun. Don't touch the gun. We're looking for DNA evidence from the bad guy. That's like the one detective tip that I can share with the younger guys and with the people who are going to come on. You get so excited when you see a gun. You're like, oh my, unless it's on someone's body and you're removing it from someone's body. But a gun in a car is not going to go off by itself if there's no one in the car. Just leave it where it is. Hey, I found a gun right there. There's a gun on the floor. There's a gun under the seat. A gun in the woods. Don't touch the gun. So many young guys, they're like, oh, I made it safe, because military guys.
Yeah.
Military guys are the worst guys. They're like, yeah, I know how to handle all these weapons. Well, why are you handling it? Why are you making it safe for? We want to recover the round that's on top. Yeah. We want to know which round. We want to know how many rounds are on top, and we want to swab it for DNA. And so many guys don't realize what happens I get it. It's their first arrest. It's their first gun. It might be the first one that they came across. And I know you've come across a few now. So you've gotten infinitely better as a cop.
Yeah.
And what makes you better is by putting yourself in those situations that like you learn every single time. Like, oh, the detectives don't want me to touch the gun. Okay. Secure the gun. Don't handle it as much. Only handle it as much as you need to. If you need to remove it from somebody's person, which we did quite a few times, then okay, secure it in your car, but don't make it safe and everything. Don't be rubbing fingerprints off and rubbing DNA off of it. It's almost like you're helping the bad guy to commit their crime. It's like, no, we want to swab the gun.
You know what? You're so right, because I had an incident where I ended up doing a foot chase. Mm-hmm. Long story short, caught up to the guy a few blocks later.
And the cop you were with.
Yeah. You could tell that part.
The cop you were with was not quite as experienced with these matters. Go ahead. Back to you.
Honestly, I felt like I was set up for failure too, because the dispatcher was training. Mm. And I think they should have put the senior dispatcher on for that whole incident. Because I'm putting over in a foot pursuit.
Yeah. Hold the air.
Yeah.
Everybody shut up.
Yeah. Everyone's talking. I'm trying to give over where I'm at. I'm getting beeped out. Send me the call. Send the job. Send the job. Mm-hmm. End up catching up to the guy. Get him. Came and put over that I have him in custody. Mm-hmm. And then we search and we find the firearm. And we pull out the gun. As soon as I pull it off his waistband, drop it. And then, that gun ended up coming back with those prints and came back to other shootings.
Yep.
So you had such great advice with that, because if I would have taken that gun out, started touching it all over, who would have known what it could have changed?
Yeah, you could have taken away the fingerprints. You could have taken away the interior swabs that, we want we want to swab the inside of it. Anywhere where sweat might have, his DNA.
Yeah.
It's easy for a bad guy to say, oh, I just handled it, but it's a lot harder when their DNA is on the inside of it, because then it shows that you were really handling it.
Yeah. Now, just to change gears a little bit, police work exposes people to things most people never experience. How does fitness help you deal with stress after a critical incident?
So, in terms of critical incidences, I was in special victims. And in special victims, you see some really terrible crimes. It's like one of the most stressful units you can deal with, because you're dealing with like physical abuse of children less than 18 years old, 18 to infant. So sometimes that could be a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old that's been beaten up by someone, which I always thought was worse than some of the sexual abuse cases that I had. And the way that I always dealt with it was through physical fitness. So that's been my pattern my entire career. If I had a stressful day, I was like, I'm going for a walk, or there'd be times when I pulled up in my driveway and I just passed out because I was just so tired from exhaustion. But as soon as I recovered, either the next day or later that day, I either went for a walk or I went to the gym. Like, the gym has always been my place of therapy, and it will always be my personal place of therapy. And that's not to take away from psychologists. And I highly recommend, if like you feel like you're at a level of stress where you need to talk to someone. I got to that point at one point in my career where I called up the PBA and I was like, hey, I'm not suicidal, but I definitely need to talk to someone. And they put me in touch with the right people. So I'm telling everyone, like, when you reach that level, then you need to talk to someone. They have resources in place for specifically that person, specifically for that purpose. But if you're not at that level where you feel like you need to talk to someone, then get on the treadmill. When my partner went through the worst crisis of his life, he would be on the elliptical like a madman, and I knew what he was going through. So like, I'd be right there next to him, motivating him, and just being there for him. Sometimes not even speaking, just like I knew what he was going through. So like, I'd just be working out next to him. And I swear the elliptical machine got him through his crisis. And me going over to his house and saying, hey, we're going to go take a walk around the track, got him through his crisis. And when I went through my own personal crises, multiple crises, whether that be divorce, the family breaking up, or a really difficult case, the gym was always my safe place. Sometimes if it wasn't the gym, then it was the track. And I'm not a big runner. Like, when I tell people at the track, it doesn't mean I was out there running. I would just walk until I cleared my head. Sometimes I'd walk, run. If I felt really great, I'd do sprints. Sprints always made me feel better, because like, you could do just 3 or 4 of them, get winded, and all of a sudden you still get that runner's high. But I'm a big proponent of just walking or beating up a bag. If you can get access to a lot of times I had a speed bag. So the speed bag helped me clear my head. The heavy bag, I pounded the crap out of that thing. Many years of hitting the heavy bag. So there's something to be said for that. Also, if you're in uniform, I'm a big proponent of jiu-jitsu. So like, there's no reason why it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. It could be Muay Thai. It could be boxing. I'm a big proponent of jiu-jitsu because, as a smaller person myself, I know that if I ever had to face someone that was 100 pounds heavier than me, I felt confident enough that I could survive the fight long enough until backup got there. And I wasn't in a precinct that backup took a long time to get to. But I knew that, like, hey, I was out there being an active cop. I was chasing people. So yeah. I knew that if I ended up in a house somewhere or in the woods somewhere, I knew that I wanted to be able to hold my own long enough And if you're not training jujitsu or boxing or wrestling and you're still in uniform, then you're just asking for a tragedy, and you don't want it to be on a day that you least expect. Like, you always want to be mentally prepared and ready. And it also helps you deal with stress. Like Roland was a great, I trained for 7 years. I got my black belt in jiu-jitsu, and Roland was an incredible outlet for me. There was days that I did not feel like training, but I went and trained anyway, and I felt better. I felt 1,000 times better. Then there were days when I was so excited to train, and I still felt better. And then there were days where like I was getting my ass kicked, and like I was like, oh, I didn't win anything today, but I still enjoyed the physical exhaustion of it.
Yeah.
Everything with stress for me comes down to physically exhausting myself. Whatever emotion you're going through can be fixed through motion.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at trying to have one of the jiu-jitsu instructors come on the podcast.
That would be an excellent addition, because anybody that talks to me, whenever I go to like a squad inspection, I'm like, are you training jiu-jitsu? Especially the females, I tell them all, are you training jiu-jitsu? Have you started training yet? And they're like, no, not yet. I'm thinking about it. Like, you better start, because the incident, your critical incident, it doesn't happen to you 2 months out of the academy. It doesn't happen when your defensive tactics are fresh in your mind. Your critical incident happens to you when you have 3 years on the job, 4, 5, 12 years on the job, and you've long forgotten everything that they ever taught you in those few weeks of defensive tactics, which, by the way, is a joke, because it's not enough time to build in the reps. Mm-hmm. Everything is reps. So whether you're spinning on someone's back or you're taking control of an arm, if you haven't done that type of a rep 150,000 times, it has to be thousands of times. It can't be, like you did it over a weekend. You took a defensive class over the weekend, and now you're trained. Like, my girl has a joke. I've trained with her for maybe a total of 15, 20 minutes. And she's like, all right, I'm ready for the UFC now. She says it all the time. She's like, I'm ready for the UFC now. And unfortunately, a lot of cops feel like the defensive tactics in the academy are the only training that they ever get. And they don't have the foresight enough to think like, maybe I should get more training.
Yeah.
And
that's what I hate too. Like, I've had a few instances where some females, they'll come over the radio. You can hear that, like, they're looking for someone to help them out. Like, you hear it in their voice. And I always hate that, because I'm like, we got to protect them,
Yep.
And I remember I was going to the call. You could hear already, it's going. Mm-hmm. It's going to go down. And I hate that, because it's like, I hate when there's guys, there's a girl trying to put the guy into custody. You're going to give them a problem. Now, all of a sudden, the cavalry shows up, 4 or 5 guys. All of a sudden, they want to put their hands on them, Yep. So that's one thing I always hate, is when guys try to take advantage of the girls, you know? So, yeah, but you're right, though, with the critical incidences, because I had an issue myself. We had a baby that was in cardiac arrest. Long story short, didn't make it. And I remember being at the hospital, so devastated with like the EMS crew and everything.
Sorry.
Yeah. And I always tell people, like, let your emotions out. I don't care what anyone says, because I ended up going back to the PD, like, Cole's holding out the wazoo. I needed 2 minutes to just cry.
Yeah.
Like, it was terrible. But one of the craziest things was, after I got off of work that night, I worked till 3 a.m. I got off. I went to a 24-hour gym, signed up just to lift, because I just was so depressed.
Yeah, it really makes a massive difference to physically exhaust yourself after anything stressful.
Yeah.
Whether it's an argument with your significant other, which, by the way, is the number one cause of people taking their own lives, is a breakup or some kind of major issue with their significant other. There is life on the other side of divorce. I'm here to tell you, like, when my world was crumbling, I went and saw the police psychologist, And he told me, like, hey, there's life on the other. He's like, most people get through this. And he told me a magic trick, which I won't share on the air, but he told me a magic trick. He's like, do this for the next couple of weeks and you'll feel a little bit better. And I did, and I did feel better. And that whole entire time I was like just working out like a madman, just like getting crazy sweats going at the gym. And I did feel better. Like the gym has gotten me through everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Final question for you. What's your longevity to a successful career in law enforcement? What's one advice?
It's what we've been talking about the whole time.
I know, but what's one advice that you could give to anyone who's prospecting, trying to get on?
Don't think of the PT as a one-time in your career event. If you're going into law enforcement, first responder, fireman, whatever it is, the PT is not just through the academy. So too many people, they get out and they're like, I'm never running again. Well, I didn't say you had to run, but you should be doing something physical. To think that you're going to put on a uniform and you're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm not fat shaming anyone. I know my partner does that sometimes. But to think that you're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're not going to prioritize your own health, you're not going to have longevity on the job, you're not going to have longevity after the fact. So many people, the longer they stay on, the quicker they die. It's because of the sleep. And it's because they never prioritize their health. I prioritize my health my entire police career. And I think it's what's kept me so happy, healthy, and harmonious. Like I've really been like, I've been a happy guy my whole career. And if anyone knows me, they know I'm generally pretty smiley.
I call you Smiles.
And one of the first things I said to Jerry when I met him was, don't let this job change who you are at your core.
Yes. Like
keep smiling, keep being happy, and don't let it change. I remember people giving me that advice and I was like, it's never going to change me. Inevitably, it does change you. But if you keep yourself fit, I believe that you can keep yourself somewhat the same person that you went in with the bright eyes and, bushy tail and the same level of energy. I believe you can keep that as long as you keep yourself fit. When you start to let yourself go, someone I used to work with had the term grenades, and it doesn't just apply to women. It's men and women. I remember seeing new guys. There's a guy I'm thinking of. I'll tell you his name when we stop recording. But I saw him get so big. I saw him tack on 50 pounds after the academy, after probation. And he messed up a car stop.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I joked about his birthday cake. I joked about it, but I was like, I joked about it in front of a female, and it was intentional. It was a little mean. I was like, man, you're packing a lot of cake back there. It was a little mean, but it was in hopes to try and like get him moving in the right direction. And I even talked to him like after the fact. I was like, hey, if you took any offense to that, I'm like, I'm here to help you. And like,
but you know what though? I saw him recently. He lost weight.
Good.
He lost weight.
Good.
And one of the things I wanted to hit on.
I kept telling him, I'm like, man, you packing on a lot of cake back there.
He was. It's funny because when I first met you, I'm like, man, this guy's got some crazy socks on. You remember that?
Yeah.
I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I will say one of your signatures was those socks, man. I actually miss seeing those throughout the precinct.
I go on Amazon and I search.
You got to see his socks. His socks are crazy.
Oh, yeah?
All random colors and shapes. He's not wearing them now.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's when he works. They're like, you stare at them.
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I remember we were on one of the roadways for a death that occurred. And he's there, and I'm like, man, them socks. You just see him a mile away. He wears great suits. And then you see him with his partner, And I'm like, those socks, man. I always joke with him and his partner about it.
Going up
But
to the NBA with the neon green socks.
literally with like random like shapes and colors.
I don't own any. Actually, I have a pair that has aliens on it, neon green aliens.
That's sick.
That's my favorite. That's like one of my favorite pairs because you can't really see the alien unless the leg goes all the way up, you know.
That's
But
awesome.
I do have a lot of striped, different colors, purple, black, red, blue. I do have a lot of different colors socks.
And Dave, where can my guests find you on?
On Instagram, Coach Super Dave, the number one. On Amazon, my latest book, I've written 3, but my latest one that's available on Amazon is The Heroic Coaching Blueprint by Detective Dave Leath. That's available on Amazon now, and that is for anyone that's considering a side hustle in coaching first responders, whether you're a police officer, fireman, military, same audience that you have. There's so many different avenues available to us now as creators. Like, you don't have to be a podcaster. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You can just be an author. You can just be a digital marketer. You could be a speaker, such as myself. I like to go on stages. I like to go on podcasts and just tell people my story. Like, the more you tell your story, the more people hear about you and the more people connect with you. Like, I know that my particular cup of tea in terms of like fitness first and sleep and jujitsu and like all of those things are not for everyone. I know that like some people are going to connect with that, but everyone should order that book, The Heroic Coaching Blueprint. It's a short book, but it should give you some inspiration. There's a section in there, 27 sources of income. You don't need 27. You just need like 2 or 3 that will add to your primary source of income. Like, I have the book. I have several books. I have websites. I have coaching offers and things like that I offer people. But you don't need all of that stuff at first. You just need one extra source of income. So that you're not just over broke with the one job.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you again, Dave.
Man, this has been awesome.